Why were Viet Cong booby traps so deadly? Imagine walking through a jungle, every step potentially a trap. That's exactly what soldiers faced during the Vietnam War. The Viet Cong used booby traps to turn the dense jungle into a deadly maze. These traps were simple but effective, made from materials they could find locally like bamboo, wood, and metal scraps. Many traps used sharpened bamboo stakes called punji sticks. These were often coated with poisons, animal venom, or even human waste to cause infections and make injuries worse. The Viet Cong placed these traps along trails, narrow paths, and landing zones where soldiers would naturally pass. Because they used natural materials, the traps were hard to detect with the mine detectors used by American forces. Some traps were just tripwires connected to grenades or small bombs. Others were hidden pits filled with spikes or snakes. They even rigged bows to shoot arrows when a tripwire was disturbed. These traps weren't just meant to kill. They were designed to maim and slow down enemy troops. The Viet Cong also set secondary traps near wounded soldiers or those helping others. This tactic increased casualties and spread fear among the troops. They used the jungle's thick foliage and natural cover to hide their devices, making every step dangerous. The psychological impact was huge. Soldiers constantly feared hidden threats, which affected their movement and decision-making. Between 1965 and 1970, around 11% of U.S. Army deaths and 17% of wounds came from booby traps. Some units, like the Marines in 1965, saw up to 70% of casualties caused by mines and traps. These numbers show how effective these devices were as a guerrilla tactic. The traps were cheap to make, easy to hide, and deadly. They forced soldiers to move slowly and carefully, draining their resources and morale. The clever use of the environment and simple materials made these traps especially deadly. They turned the jungle into a trap-filled nightmare that kept soldiers on edge. The Viet Cong's use of booby traps showed how resourcefulness and understanding of terrain could level the playing field against a technologically superior enemy. Every trap was a reminder that, in guerrilla warfare, small, hidden devices could cause big problems.